I'm gonna talk about some Capcom stuff that I saw and got hands-on time with at Summer Game Fest. Because now the embargo's up. I've already posted a couple of the pieces, and I'll have the third one, the Resident Evil one, today. Let me get those first two, and then I'll talk a little bit of Resident Evil. So, Onimusha, I kind of mentioned it in the Discord. I'm not an Onimusha guy, only because I'd never played an Onimusha game, right? Didn't know what to think about it. I just thought it was a samurai sword game in the past. But Way of the Sword, which is the latest game this year, it's been like 20 years since the last Onimusha. I think it was like 2006 almost. And when this comes out in 26 next year, it'll be 20 years. But it's this really cinematic one-on-one like sword showdown game. You take every enemy as if they were designed specifically for you to fight. This is like just a series. It feels like a series of one-on-one battles, even though you do face off against small groups now and again. It's a gorgeous game. It in my preview I talked a little bit about just some of the action stuff, and I think that's the most important part. So they show us this live play session where they're going through this village on their way to a temple that takes place in it's modern day would be Kyoto, but takes place during the Edo period. So it's like several hundred years in the past. But just you're getting to this temple, or Musashi Miyamoto is getting to the temple, and he's kind of based on this famous legendary samurai who was, according to the lore, he was very strict and very patient and wanted to become a master swordsman, a samurai, the right way, go through all the steps. So they translate that into this game in that you have the Oni gauntlet, right? You have this magical demonic gauntlet, which you can do a whole bunch of stuff with, but as a way to sort of gatekeep or to kind of put little blocks on what abilities you can get and when you can get them, they make it so that, he doesn't want to use them yet because he doesn't think he's ready to use them, which is an interesting way to go about that, but totally believable because of who this character, in history was. So, you get through there. You're basically you're facing off against humans and demons. The demons are called the Genma. And they're, they have the sort of this miasma thing that's taking over do my hand motion there. That's kind of slowly taking over different temples and different towns and stuff. And it's his job to eradicate that. So he can, as he defeats an enemy, he can kind of suck their soul out and gain experience, gain health, gain power, gain abilities, blah, blah, blah. And obviously parrying is a big part of this. Guarding, defending are a big part of this because you are sword fighting. I mean, these are, again, there are a lot of times, for the most part, they're one-on-one sword battles. So he faces off against a bunch of different enemies. You can, one of the moves is allows you to deflect stuff. And if you do it correctly, you can deflect an arrow back at like an archer. But you use all these different tools to face off against, and I forget the name of your sort of arch enemy, your arch rival, but who is a human, also has an Oni gauntlet, but is letting the gauntlet corrupt him. Like he knows his gauntlet has power, and he's like, just bring it. I want to have all the power in the world. I want to be all powerful at expense of me as my humanity. So you're kind of battling the way the story they told us was you're kind of battling him throughout this game because he is trying to open more of the demonic, power world into ours. But at the same time, you're facing off against these pretty massive demons. So the demo had the samurai face off against his arch rival in one point and they're also, the animation is so freaking awesome and fluid. And it feels natural, like the attacks. Like he'll just kind of do a random knee if you're up close to an enemy. Like you'll be going through a combo, and he'll just kick up. He'll do a knee. He'll throw an elbow, and it's like that's what a person would do in that situation. And here, when you face off against your arch rival, like they were going back and forth, and the arch, again, I got to figure out his name. reaches out for Musashi and tries to grab him. This guy right here, grab him, but misses because Musashi was ready for all the power moves. You know, the Oni gauntlet moves this guy was going to do, or his nemesis was going to do. So he reaches, he misses. Musashi grabs the arm and breaks his arm because he has that opening, and that's all part of like the attack moveset. Very cinematic, very awesome from that standpoint. And then you face off against this giant monster, axe wielding dude after that, but really impressive. I may be becoming an Onimusha guy. I thought it was.
Look, everything that you were just explaining about Onimusha is like, oh hell yeah, they're just making a new Onimusha
They're
game.
just making them.
Because
Again,
everything you described was just like, oh, that's just Onimusha, man. That's,
yep. Read the full review.
Yeah, it's hard to look back and realize that Onimusha was such a huge game for the PlayStation 2 when it came out. It was very much like built on the backbone of Resident Evil,
right?
Like, pre-rendered backgrounds and fixed camera angles to give it. That was the only way you could really get a cinematic view of anything back then. That's why those games. It's one of the main reasons why those games did it. Like nowadays, you with the way you can render, visuals and stuff, you can have you can free up camera control a little bit more. But like Onimusha was like their first like big seller for the PlayStation 2. Like it was like I think it might be the first game to sell over 1 million units for the PlayStation 2. Yeah. It was a huge franchise for like 3 years, and then it just disappeared. Like I think, like I looked it up, and you're right. 2006 is when the Onimusha whatever
2 or 3, whatever it's called.